This is the Mobile Tech Podcast, brought to you by worldpodcasts.com. Now here's your host, Tech Girl, Miriam Joie.
Brought to you by Mint Mobile. Stay tuned for a special offer at the end of the show. Hi, and welcome to the Mobile Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Miriam Joie, and today is Wednesday,
29th?
The 29th.
I had to look. Sorry.
Of April, me too.
It's
Moto Razr Day. We're here in LA. I'm here with TK Bay. Hi, TK.
Welcome to my hometown.
I know.
Finally, we have an event in LA.
Listen,
it'll be the only one for the next
I love LA.
century.
It's great. And we're in a lovely hotel. If you see me looking out distracted, it's because there's a beautiful view here. But listen,
very distracting view.
There is so much to unpack about the Razr phones. We have 4 phones to talk
We have
about.
a lot of hardware. Yeah.
We have the Fold, we have the Ultra, we have the Plus, and the regular. There's earbuds and a pen too, and we can roll those in.
And some
as
kind of a
needed.
watch, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't
But
see
think,
any of that. Did I miss a watch?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I missed a
Same
watch.
table where they had the.
But that was already released. Like the
Yeah.
new
I
thing.
meant to say the watch has been. I was
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to follow that and say, the watch is not new.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
what are your overarching thoughts on this Razr event? And to be clear, audience, listeners, we're only going to talk Razr this week. I'm going to catch up with you guys on the news next week. There's so much to talk about because, look, Moto to me is kind of making a comeback and is the underdog.
Oh,
and,
absolutely. Absolutely.
And
yes.
I love underdogs.
And they're the brand we love to love. I mean, some of my favorite pieces of hardware over time, like my first watch was the original Moto with the tire at the end. Remember the first Moto watch?
I had the
I
Moto
carried
watch.
that till the battery died on that one.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate for what they do. I love what they're doing with their Razr line, the improvements, the hardware, and the fact that they're following the trends. They're understanding what people like, and they're trying to cater to those conversations. But I'm also a little bit, I'll say that I was a little bit taken back by some of the decisions this year, and we can obviously, dive a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed overall. I think underwhelming for at least the Razr flip phones. Yeah. But with, I've got some asterisks to add there, right?
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in there, but there's a lot of head scratching going on.
A little bit, yeah.
And then the other thing for me was, I dig the idea that this company is focusing on lifestyle, fashion, design as a marketing thing. Like, it's not for me necessarily, but here's the thing. Every time I use a flip phone, I have a better experience on Moto. So it doesn't matter. As a nerd, as a tech-savvy early adopter like you listeners, it's like, this is my go-to flip phone, always. You've got last year's here.
I have the 2025. Yeah, I know. I don't want to. It's the Alcantara version
This
in
is
green.
the Ultra, correct?
It is the Ultra.
Yeah. I had the wood one last year.
I tried. I asked. I begged.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? I will say, from an ASMR type of an experience, I found myself quite a bit yesterday in the presentation, just playing around and just feeling the material. It is beautiful, though. They do great.
Allison from The Verge just posted on social today that she was underwhelmed, but she cannot get past how gorgeous these phones are.
Absolutely.
And it's the same every year. Like, look, let's kind of talk about the elephant in the room. These are identical in terms of form factor, these 3 Razr flip phones as last year. Dimensionally, they're the same, weight virtually the same. What you need to know is basically all the cases will fit, all that pretty much, but they are just changing the colors and the materials. And they're all Pantone. The whole Pantone partnership is absolutely
they're basically,
brilliant.
Moto and Pantone are basically embedded at this point.
It's brilliant. I think that, I want to acknowledge all this before we start complaining about stuff because, we're not the target, like us and my audience and you, we're not the target audience for these devices. We use them, but it's not who we are.
I was going to say the direction. So the direction that we've noticed from Moto from the last few years is they're trying to go after a very different audience that hasn't maybe seen them before. They talked about the fact that they were able to claim a lot of customers from iOS devices coming over to starting to use it.
25% of their new users are coming from iPhones, which blows my mind.
Not just that, though. The female market is also jumping through the roof as far as
Gen
capturing
Z women. And the other thing that I didn't know, I mean, we kind of knew, but they confirmed again, is they're the number 1 selling flip brand of folding phone in the world.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And I mean, look, Samsung kind of dropped the ball because they were sitting on their laurels for so long. And then now they're catching up a little bit with the Z Flip 7 last year,
And
finally
the
having a
FE.
4-inch full screen and all
say,
that.
and the FE.
And the FE, though, is not even in the same league, in my opinion, as the Razr base. Like,
No.
like, I feel like if you're going to go low price-wise, even though we're going to talk about prices, because there's a bit of a can of worms there, but I think Razr is absolutely the winner. Now, arguably, if you have money and you want the higher end flip phones, you could argue that, and more so with these new phones, we're going to get to it, you could argue that the Z Flip 7 is a better choice because of the tech specs.
So far,
See what I'm
yes.
saying?
If we,
And then-
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
But I'm not there because, again, I like the Underdog. I like the industrial design and the way they feel in hand. The Razrs better. They're also super durable. My producer Theo has a 2023 Razr Plus, the top of the line at the time.
Yeah.
And they've beaten the living crap out of that thing. And it somehow still works. Like, I cannot believe it. And this is relatively early on still. Like, every year they improve the ruggedability and so like, this is not the most rugged phone that they have in their hands. Now, they have a case on it, to be fair, but like, it's pretty amazing. And then the final thing I want to say is, for me, it's the software. The fact that I can use the front screen any way I want. There's no restrictions. There's no putting you on rails like Samsung does.
Exactly.
And I think Samsung is just kind of hyper-focused on their Fold. And the Flip has become an afterthought. And I think that's why Moto stole their lunch, to be honest. And of course, Pantone design, marketing.
I think it's absolutely the marketing and the also they're targeting lifestyle influencers. I mean, if reality matter,
Yes.
we're going to be going to an event in a very short amount of
Oh my
time
God.
after we're done here, and if history repeats itself, we are definitely going to see the crew that they're going to bring there and the type of events. Which, look, I appreciate what Moto does. I appreciate the technology that they bring in here. And like you said, having the ability of having any app that you want on the lock screen. The addition of live wallpapers on the lock screen to me was an absolute win. Like, I love these things for Dragon Ball stuff. So I love these little touches that they did. The technology and the batteries, we have slightly bigger batteries now. Obviously, we still get the core experience. There's a few new features coming in, collaborations with Google that I thought that were also kind of coming in really strong. But in general, like, I feel this is the maintenance year for the Razr for me.
Yeah, but in some ways it was last year too, but especially for the Plus.
For the Plus, yeah. No,
And so
definitely.
I say, let's talk about that real quick, because, I also want to talk about the Fold, because that's kind of my muse right now.
I'll say this now. I love the Fold. I got a chance to play with it at MWC, like actually playing with it, not just holding the phone and not being able to do much, because CES was very hands-off-ish for me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have time, but I did, like, I touched it. Whereas at MWC, I was able to take photos and try
absolutely.
it out.
And it was beautiful. It was a good day.
Yeah.
You could take things in there. So to me, I got the feel of it, and I could see how their image processing is getting better.
Yeah.
The tuning is actually done a little bit better. So I'm appreciating what they've done. But again,
Yeah, so let's
Razrs.
start with the base Razr, because it's the easiest one.
Yes.
So here's what you need to know. $100 more, oof, half the storage as before. That is
that's the
killer.
kicker. Yeah.
So 256 last year is now down to 128. And I'm sorry, but in this day and age, even if you're just a kid or something, you need at least 256. And that, I understand it's a RAM, storage chip cost probably issue at this point,
no, I don't doubt
but
it, yeah.
you increase the price by $100. So
And you give
them
them less.
like,
yeah.
I can't believe we got less storage. That is a problem. But there are some good things. Across the board, we're getting camera improvements and we're getting battery improvements. Silicon carbon is been in the Razrs before, but this is the first time they're really talking about it.
Yeah.
And good marketing, because they're realizing that, especially us nerds, we've been like, I've wrote an entire article about it on Tom's
absolutely.
Guide recently. So like, we're really into it, and we're into it for good reasons. But this is apparently like a newer version of silicon carbon. In the previous Razr, they had very early versions, which had very little silicon content in the anode. They didn't give us the percentage.
No percentage.
but
No, yeah.
apparently this is much denser. And so that means that the batteries have gone up across the board.
Oh yeah, 4800. Actually, the small one.
So
surprisingly,
4800 versus 4500 on the small one. The Plus is 45 versus 4. And then the Ultra is 5000 versus
I think it was at the 40
47.
Yeah, it was like 47 and 48.
So big improvements. Now that is nothing, to scoff at. Like, it probably costs money. From my research and my article, I found out that it is more expensive to make these batteries. And it's more complex. But We also got camera improvements across the board. So that's starting with the Razr base. That 13 megapixel ultra wide has been replaced with a 50 megapixel ultra wide. And it's actually the same 50 megapixel ultra wide that they now put in the Razr Plus to replace the stupid, useless 2x telephoto they had before. So these are all big changes. But here's what's important. That ultra wide on both the base Razr and the Plus is a better ultra wide than the ultra wide on the Ultra. It is a larger sensor with bigger pixels, just barely. Like it's 0.6 micron versus on the Ultra versus 0.64 micron, like just a little bit.
I will say I appreciate that part, but I also felt like they kind of reversed it the other way around. The capabilities go up and up and up. You get the best capabilities when it comes to video and capture and content. You know, 8K, 4K, and all of that.
We'll get to that, but the base Razr, that's what you need to know. So $100 more, $799 instead of $699. Bummer. Less storage.
4 colorways.
Lots of colorways, which is great.
Yeah, they definitely. They didn't skimp on the.
Way to go.
Absolutely.
But half the storage is bad. Better ultra wide, very welcome for the kind of audience they're aiming for. I totally support it. Better battery, good. But you know, in the end, I would have been okay with the increase of price. But I didn't realize the storage was half until I actually looked at compared with last year. And I was like, oh, that is bad. Because, you know, what we've seen right now is either the price staying the same and the storage staying the same, which is nice. Like Pixel 9a to Pixel 10a. We've seen the price staying the same and the storage doubling, iPhone 17e versus 16e. Way to go, Apple. Unexpected from Apple.
I know,
and we've seen this is completely the reverse. This is the worst scenario. Like the price goes up and the storage goes down. Like
it's. I'm sure the economics and you know pricing and all of that plays a big factor in the conversation. The concern that you always have is when you come in with pricing that is aggressive and you're trying to be competitive in the market, and we're getting all three. And again, the return to the ultra wide on the Plus, we'll talk about that a little bit because it was a shift from last year because they went from an ultra wide to a telephoto. They kept the base one had an ultra wide and the Ultra. I think at the end, people going in may not notice the difference. I mean, I'll be very frank because most of these are going to be picked up on carriers. They're going to be going into Best Buy. They're going to be picking them up.
And also we're going to get discounts right away.
Absolutely.
But it's just the principle.
It's
like
the MSRP.
Exactly.
Like, Jinx.
Yes.
Sorry.
I think, look, the only other thing you need to know about the Razr base is that it has a slightly newer Dimensity chip, 7450X instead of 7400X. Again, you're not going to notice. This is a great chip for its purpose. Like I have no issues. I have no issues with those specs. The only issue I have is the price and the drop of storage. This phone is otherwise super awesome.
Yeah.
The Plus, this is a big deal. So as I said, my producer Theo has a 2023 Razr Plus. That had, I think, an 8 Plus Gen 1. Oh, wow. And it had a 13 megapixel ultra wide and a 50 megapixel main. Okay. Right? Good. Now, the next year, for 24, they changed the phone pretty radically. It was, at the time, the best phone. Remember, the Ultra came in 25. So the best phone was a bummer in a way because it has an 8S Gen 3 starting 22. For the chip was brand new at the time. Think of it as at the time the top dog was the 8 Gen 3 and then 8S Gen 3 was kind of the slightly lower tier below it. So okay, fine. And then for some crazy reason they decided that zooming was important. And they gave us a 50 megapixel telephoto instead of the 13 megapixel ultra wide. But here's the mistake they made. It was a small sensor and it was a 2x. And so here's the thing. The big main sensor, the wide sensor, would have done the exact same quality at 4x than the thing did at 2x. 2x plus 2x, right? The equivalent. And we all scratching our heads, like, because ultra wide, like, you can't back up. Like, you know, like, I personally appreciate a good telephoto, don't get me wrong. I shoot at almost 2x all the time now, which is why these phones like, you know, my Oppo Find X9 Ultra here, like it's stuck to 2x because I shoot almost everything at 2x. And with a big sensor, good light, good lens, great.
Absolutely.
So we were all very puzzled. And, you know, that's also why Theo decided to skip that one. Because they're like, I want an ultra wide and I don't want to go down to the lower spec. Right? So then last year, 25, nothing changed on that phone. They replaced the hinge with a slightly stronger titanium hinge. That was it. But at least the price was the same. $999 last year
kept
as the 24 price.
Yeah, that was the other.
But they introduced the Ultra and bedazzled us with essentially. And I wrote the review on Hot Hardware. Like I said, this is a flagship true and true, but it happens to flip in half. Like it's amazing because 8 Elite. Solid camera, solid battery life, solid everything.
Storage. They got it. I mean, we don't even have that on the new Ultra. That's the other thing.
I know, insane. So my point is, like, I don't understand what happened this year because, so 8S Gen 3 and 24 with a stupid tele. Then next year, same phone, new titanium base. So still 8S Gen 3 with a stupid tele. And this year they're like, okay, we're going to replace the tele with an ultra wide. Yes. And then we put a 2-year-old chip in there, 8S Gen 3. I am extremely upset that overall we didn't see processor upgrades and we'll get to the Fold, that the Fold doesn't have the best chip. These are the things. Everything else, I can live with the price increase considering the economy right now. And I understand, where they're at. And the camera great and the battery great. But like, come on, the processors. And so I've got a whole... I'm
just surprised how they were able to get the agreements from Qualcomm to support these devices for the amount of years they're going to be putting them in.
But that's beyond the point. I think this should have an 8 Gen 5 because the 8 Gen 5 is the lower tier flagship chip. And this is the lower tier flagship Razr, right? And why that isn't, especially with $100 more. It's $1099 now.
Yep.
Now, everything else is the same storage. All that's great.
Yes.
The ultra wide replaces the tele. Great, all that great. So it's a great phone,
also,
except for the chip. And a single color. And it's beautiful, Mountain View. I love it. It's green. You'll see it.
It's closer to this, by the way. I don't know if you've seen this in the video. So this is the Ultra, but in the current version, the Alcantara.
It's like halfway between that and the green of last year's base model. Yeah, that super bright green.
Exactly. So it's a little bit lighter, more foresty.
If you go to hothardware.com right now and you look at the front page, you should see my Razr story and there's photos of that in there. Look, I have no issues with the Razr Plus other than chip. I cannot believe we're getting for the third year in a row. Like, it's not just a 2-year-old chip. It's the third time they're using that chip in the Plus. It's pissing you off. You're fine.
It's almost like so I almost feel like it's designed to be a stepping stone. It's designed to be where you go see the base. You're like, okay, this is where I can save some money, but still get the flip experience and get the Moto experience at its core. And let's say you want to upgrade into the Plus, right? And then you're like, okay, well, I'm getting a little bit better here. But then you realize the improvements between the two are not very, it's a dramatic thing. The performance...
I don't even know why their phone exists anymore.
I'm not...
I really feel now that I look at the prices, I understand why. Because,
we'll
talk about the Ultra in a second. And oh my God, there's so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
My point is, last year, I really felt like because they had nothing but the titanium image upgrade, I was like, why does this phone exist?
Yeah.
You have the Ultra, let's go for that. Especially since people get it subsidized.
Absolutely. Moto is very much with Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T,
and even
that in Europe.
It was a US only model, the Plus last year.
Last year it was. This year, yeah.
Not this year, but my point is, it's like, so then you're like, why does it even exist? Because in the rest of the world, I can see how we want the multiple tiers, but
it could be a carrier thing. It could be maybe
Verizon wants that version.
We need them to be. We need to have options. You can't go from base, and we'll talk
George,
about the Ultra.
I blame you. George is awesome.
Was like, but I didn't do it. No.
Okay. I hear you.
It is. No, I know. I saw his email this morning as well, but I appreciate. Yeah, I get what they're trying to do, and I understand the placement of it, but I feel like this is going to be the one you can see they didn't do a lot of homework in that department.
No, and also one color. Oh, come on.
Single option and almost consistent to what it was last year. I feel like, you probably, if you were on the Plus last year, maybe this would have been the enticing conversation to go over to the Ultra. That could be what they're trying to do. Previous Plus users wanting to upgrade to this year's Plus, they're like, well, it didn't really change much.
Yeah.
The Ultra is really where I should go, and maybe hopefully it's a tie, so.
Look, let's get into the Ultra because, look, there's a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
First of all, silicon carbon, we talked about it, bigger capacity, 5,000 a phone that small, wow, good. Second, camera system. So they have a low-fic main sensor
on the
now.
main camera. Yes, so that's the only one.
I need to dig it out because I never remember what it means.
When they said that, I was like, okay, so at least you're paying attention. You're trying to focus on that experience.
It's called lateral overflow integration capacitor. So it's a new technology
I wouldn't have been able to say.
that basically, you remember when a backside illuminated sensor, BSI, came out? It basically captured more light and better dynamic range. It's the same thing again. What they've done is every pixel has an extra capacitor next to it. And if it's too bright, like it, gives you maximum brightness and that it would normally like overexpose that part of the image, the extra juice goes into the second capacitor.
Okay.
And so your dynamic range kind of improves because
okay.
you have like basically a reserve of accepting photons.
I hope
that's my understanding. Again, I'm an engineer, but I didn't dig into the engineering of this. Like this
I'm hoping it translates to better images.
The point is we should get better low light, especially when you have a light behind a person.
Yeah, backlit subjects.
Exactly. And we should have better dynamic range overall. So this is good because this is one of the first phones. This is one of the first phones on the market that has this sensor in the West, at least. There's been some Honor had. Was one of the early adopters of the sensor. It's mostly used in security cameras, actually. It's interesting.
Okay.
And automotive. Low fix. That's where it started.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's good.
On the main sensor,
so better battery, better camera sensor, main sensor, which is important on a phone that's a flagship, essentially, flip phone.
Oh, it is.
And everything else spec-wise, the storage, I mean, we don't get the terabyte option anymore.
I was surprised. Like, it only has
But honestly, that's overkill.
I mean,
For a flip phone?
Well,
512 is fine.
I agree. I mean,
but
I like
it reflects the pricing of the RAM and storage and stuff.
If we saw the price point that we're seeing the current Ultra with the 1 terabyte, that would have made more sense to me.
True. That's the problem.
That's the thing.
It's $200 more, guys.
Yeah, and it's
$200 more. It's $1,490. It's a $1,500 phone.
It's literally
you
$15.
can buy a Fold. Probably on sale from Samsung now for that price.
Actually, the refurbished, not that I'm trying to plug, but the refurbished Samsung Z Fold 7, I think, came out recently.
And look, I know it's not the same audience.
No, I know. And I get it. Fold people are not going to look at
But I have a
flips
hard time wrapping my head intellectually around spending $1,500 on a flip folding phone. Somehow, my limit for that was like $1,250 in my head. You know what I'm saying? And at $1,299 last year, I was like, okay. The phone is killer. It has the best specs at the time. Yeah. But this year, it doesn't have the best specs. It's $200 more. You get a better camera and better battery. But here's the thing that irks me and drives me nuts.
Okay.
8 Elite. Okay. Again, in the same way as the 8S Gen 3 on the Plus should be an 8 Gen 5 now, especially because it's the third time in a row they're doing the same chip. I'm okay with them reusing last year's chip because now they have the Fold, but we'll get to the Fold. Doesn't have the best chip, which doesn't make sense. So the Razr should stay with 8 Elite, maybe, but then the price shouldn't have gone up. Or it should have an 8 Elite Gen 5, and the price maybe could go up.
Yeah.
But it turns out there's a plot twist. So a lot of what you're going to read in the hands-on might have some updates, like the various publications. A lot of the videos you're going to watch, folks, this week, when you listen to this podcast on Sunday, will not mention this. Here's what happened. When Allison, a Motorola spokesperson, made the presentation to us yesterday, she mentioned about the Razr Ultra, that they'd improved the thermals and efficiency.
Okay.
So I wrote that in my notes with a question mark saying, you need to ask about that. Now, there wasn't a Q&A for me to ask.
No, I was surprised about that. I was hoping
I did take somebody aside. And my theory as an engineer was, okay, so here's what happened. The battery went from 4,700 to 5,000, right? So that means that it's a high density battery. Maybe the battery is actually slightly thinner, and they've given us a vapor chamber, which didn't exist in the original Razr. No. So I'm like, maybe you have a vapor chamber, and that's why it's more efficient. So I asked somebody, and I said, hey, I don't remember who that person was. She was definitely a Motorola person. I asked her and I said, hey, so what's the deal with the efficiency and thermals improvement if it's the same chip? And in my theory was, did you reduce the size of the battery as well as increase its capacity? That made room for a vapor chamber. Maybe you have a very small minimal vapor chamber in there now. She goes, no, it's a different chip. And I was like, oh, you're effing with me now. I'm like, are you a marketing person who doesn't know what you're talking about? Or are we talking like peer-to-peer here, serious, like you listening right now, hardcore, early adopter, tech-savvy field? Because you don't F with me like that.
Yeah, no, not on this, not on this.
And she says, yes, it is called the Snapdragon 8 Elite Pro. And literally all my red alarms are going off. The klaxons in my brain. I'm like, why did we not get anything from Moto?
Exactly.
Or from
even Snap.
Qualcomm?
Yeah, I was about to say.
And I'm like, what is going on here? Are you messing with me? I'm like, okay, I need to see specs. I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's not unusual for Qualcomm or MediaTek to make one-off chips for people, and they tweak the clock speeds and they remove
about
cores.
the Oppo 7-core version of the
exactly on the N5, last year
on the N6 and the N5.
It's on the N6 too, yeah. So my point is, like, it happens. Also, they remove cores, like they do on this MacBook Neo that I'm recording on. Like, all that happens. Okay, so fine.
Yeah,
give me specs. She brings me a spec sheet. Now, I don't have the specs of the 8 Elite memorized. I'm not that much of a nerd, folks. But they look normal to me. There wasn't any missing cores. This clock speed seemed right. The Adreno is 830, which is the normal GPU. So I put it in our chat room with a bunch of journalists. And I said, guys, this is what they sent me. And supposedly, and everybody's like, Miriam, no, this is an 8 Elite. You don't have to worry about it. So I was like, I'm going to ask Moto. I asked them like yesterday afternoon. They didn't answer until this morning, just before the deadline.
Conveniently.
And they did confirm that it is indeed a custom chip from Qualcomm for Moto called the 8 Elite Pro. And it has a slightly higher clock speed on the CPU and a higher clock speed on the GPU. And it's been optimized in software and in microarchitecture to be more efficient in thermals and stuff. And good. But why didn't Moto tell us this? And now half of our articles are wrong.
And why is it not front page?
I had in my video, go to my YouTube right now, guys, and watch my hands-on video, youtube.com/mobiletechpodcast. And I actually talked about that. And I removed it from my edit because I'm like, well, it's not true. So I'm not going to chance it. I should have left it in. I had a whole thing about that. And I don't want to redo the video. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, no, I mean, you'll have more opportunities, hopefully, with the actual reviews and the actual hands-on experience. Because the amount of time we had to spend with them was,
it was very short. It was rushed. Yeah.
Because once we were done with the presentation and where we didn't even have a Q&A, we got out there and you're not by yourself. There's a crew of people. Everybody's
sharing phones and
I mean, it was a beautiful
each other.
It was a beautiful scene. One of the
it
most
was
beautiful
Henrik
places.
Fisker's house.
Okay, I don't know who Henrik Fisker is.
The car designer. That's why the two Fiskers were outside.
Oh my God.
There was a Karma, the car that he first went bankrupt with, and the second car, the Ocean was there. And then further up, there was an Ocean with the mirror wrap on it.
Okay, I didn't. Okay.
Anyway, and then you also notice the garage door was massive. Like it was like an industrial size garage.
Yeah, almost like they could put a
So he's probably got more cars in there. But yeah, no, I found that out on my way out when one of the people that I guess was catering said, this, because I was like, wow, what's the chance of a Karma 15-year-old hybrid electric plug-in hybrid car from Fisker, different Fisker company, and the pure electric Ocean, which when they went bankrupt, are parked next to each other. Well, because we're in front of Henrik Fisker's house. Beautiful base up in the hills of West Hollywood. Anyway, so we were rushed, and I think overall, my issue here was that they didn't share this. Like, what I don't understand, it's fine not to share with us if we weren't all up in arms that it was the same chip again. Like, maybe we weren't all up in arms, but I was. I'm like, you're charging $200 more and it's the same chip and it's not the top of the line chip and it's a flagship phone.
This is what bugs me on not having a Q&A. Not being able to ask questions. And it was like, presentation over, thank you very much. Please go do your hands-on and you have a limited amount of time. They should have shared it. They don't spend time. I mean, Moto typically doesn't spend time on specs.
Talked to somebody from Qualcomm. They're in the hotel next door. I went to get a beverage there just before the podcast. And I told them about it. And they're like, oh, we need to have a talk with them. because I'm like, yes.
If you're making it does
make you look good. Because,
don't get me wrong. Oppo doesn't publicize their version of it, but they purposely made a custom version of it. They're the only ones who keep asking.
It's listed in the specs.
No, it is. And I think on the N5, they weren't as forthcoming. On the N6, they were basically pretty much just saying, yep, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I appreciate them just owning up to it, because by the end of last year with the Z Fold 6 and everybody was, talking about like, we went with the full version as opposed to whatever. And the reality is you don't even notice the difference.
You don't notice the difference at all. And if you have to bin it's cheaper because you get a bin chip that's, essentially has a core disabled. And more importantly, why not? Like, I think if you're worried about thermal efficiency and stuff on a really thin phone, having one less core, makes sense.
I get it. Oh.
Anyway, look, the thing is, this is a reality. So it's a slightly custom chip, and that's okay. But why? Like this would have been, to me, this is a marketing selling point because you're talking to the non-design Gen Z women, creator.
Yeah, we have a special chip. This is custom made
and that
for us.
is why we didn't upgrade to an 8 Elite Gen 5, but we did work with Qualcomm to make this Moto a better experience. Then we would have been okay. It's better. It's easier to swallow the $200 price point, right?
You can understand it. Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, who is running marketing here? Like, sorry, Moto, but like, come on, you're nailing it on so many fronts.
I have a feeling it probably was a faux pas on the sense of they didn't realize it was a pro.
And then half the people knew and the other half didn't know.
Yeah.
Even our PR people didn't know, and they had to dig it out. So this person, clearly, whoever I talked to, knew.
Yeah,
and they weren't making it up because they brought me a spec sheet, Anyway, look, it's still at this price should be an 8 Elite Gen 5, even with one less core, like a bin,
and half
because
the storage,
you're making a flagship flip phone. And as soon as you say flagship to me, it's like, let's talk about nothing. And they're flagships, which in my opinion, have never been that great. I would much rather have the 4A Pro than the 3 from last year right now.
I barely got my hands on the 4A Pro.
No, it doesn't have wireless charging. It's about the only difference.
Yeah.
But I think camera-wise, it's a better phone, 100%. Even though the cameras are still not, there still needs some tuning there.
No, I mean,
I've said this on the show before, and I've told Carl when I saw him in London for the launch, it's like, stop making flagships. Just focus on this A series.
Yeah.
This is where you're nailing it.
Yeah.
This is where you live. Make a flagship when you can, and really don't mess it up. Like, go nuts.
No, exactly.
Like, don't. I'm not saying ultra level like this Oppo that I have, the X9, but I'm saying like maybe pro level, like something that competes properly with the S26 Ultra, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, the Pixel 10 Pro XL, or whatever it's called.
The name, I know.
No, but here's the thing: Pixel is a bit of a problem because the Tensor chip, and I'm a hostage of the Pixel world, as I always say, Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
But the chip sucks. Like, I literally, it's starting, the BS from my Pixel. It's what I started since whenever it came out, September.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't even been.
The slowing down, heating up, performance decrease, it needs a factory reset thing. It's starting, and it doesn't matter because I'm gonna get another one in 6 months or 3 months.
Sure. I mean, well, the A should be out in about a month.
But I'm
or so.
frustrated because until about a month ago, it was just fine. And now it's just like, I could also be the monthly software update that's missing.
I mean, usually you'll get hit and misses with those, but yeah.
And in that sense, maybe I shouldn't have thrown Pixel in that pie. But if nothing can do a proper flagship at some point, please do not put a lesser chip in there. And that's my problem with Moto right now. And that really, really segues us really nicely to the Fold. Because the Fold is phenomenal spec-wise. The price is $100 less than the Z Fold 7 at $1899. It's a lot of money. But that's my point. If you're going to spend that kind of money, don't F with us. Give us a freaking 8 Elite Gen 5. They put an 8 Gen 5 in there. That's the chip for reference. Okay, if you're listening at home and you're following, that's a chip in the OnePlus 15R, which costs what? $500 or $600?
I think it was like $799 when it
whatever.
First came out.
It's an affordable flagship.
It's an affordable flagship,
and that's fine at that price. But at $1899, don't mess about. Give me the best you can, especially on a productivity and multitasking focused product. I'm willing to accept the 8 Elite on the Razr, especially if they had made a big trumpets out, it's a pro model. We have a special chip. Qualcomm helped us out. Yeah. I would have been, okay. And I'm willing because it's still not their flagship technically anymore.
They're still a step above.
So in my ideal world, this is what would have happened. The prices wouldn't have gone up, and the storage would have stayed the same for the base. But for the Plus, we would have gotten 8 Gen 5. For the Razr, they would advertise that Pro. And then for the Fold, we would have gotten 8 Elite Gen 5. And that would be the perfect lineup. Because here's the thing you don't understand is, yes, it's $100 less than the Z Fold 7. On paper, they're beating it. But you know that, again, this is going to be subsidized. This phone is going to be sold by T-Mobile.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Others. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. Because here's the thing. It could be $1999. and have an 8 Elite Gen 5 in it. And then it would be the whole enchilada. Right now I'm feeling like I'm missing that bit of salsa that I want, that spices it up just a little bit, especially when you're like, I multitask. I've got the Oppo Find N6 here and the Honor Magic V6 in my pocket. These are battling it out right now as my productivity devices. There is zero compromise in terms of performance on these phones.
No, absolutely.
The software is the only limiting factor. I like the software better on the Oppo. But look, like they're flying through my tasks. Like, forget my Pixel's a joke in comparison, okay? My Pixel is just basically my communicator at this point. It's like I take my phone calls and messages and stuff. But when I want to get work done, folding phone comes out. When I want photography, the Ultra comes out. It's crazy. But the point I'm making...
You're joking because my foldables are sitting
right I know. They're
behind the camera.
But here's the thing, that I'm trying to get to here. And I'm serious. This phone already beats the Z Fold 7 in so many areas. Right? If it was the same price as Z Fold 7 and had the right chip, it would be the hooray. It would be the better phone on paper for sure. But now there's always but you put an 8 Gen 5 in there. So now it's lesser than the Z Fold 7.
But you're also handing it right over to Samsung saying, even our last year's chip can technically somewhat beat what you're getting. To me, it's the...
I'm frustrated by it.
It's like low hanging
here are the good things about this phone.
Yeah.
6,000 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery. That's the same as the Oppo Find N6 I just pulled out. That's the second best battery life on a folding phone right now, after the Magic V6, which has 6,600 in the West and 7,050 milliamp hours in China on the 1 terabyte version.
And then there were also, I don't know if, did they release that special edition one with the battery technology they talked about?
In China, 1 terabyte's really hard to get apparently. It's very limited quantities. But here's the thing, like it has better battery, like it blows away the Z Fold 7 in battery.
Z Fold 7, the Pixel Fold.
Then think about this. It has active stylus support on front and back. Or inner and outer. And Z Fold 7, Samsung's like, yeah, we invented the S Pen, but no, we are not doing it. And then the cameras. Like, I have been on the record to say this in my review for Hot Hardware on the podcast numerous times. The camera system, hear me out, this is going to be controversial. The camera system on the Z Fold 7 is crap. Now, it is good enough, but it's crap in the sense of what I have shown you just now from my pockets, the Oppo and the Honor, right? So here's the thing. The Fold has a triple 50 megapixel camera system. The reason the Z Fold 7 to me doesn't hit the mark is because, yes, the 200 megapixel main sensor is great. There's no doubt about
it's
that.
definitely an improvement,
solid.
but it's still a solid camera. It's a single camera system.
But I would argue that at a similar sensor size, a 50 megapixel sensor with a good lens is just as good, in my opinion. Right?
I agree. Yeah. No.
But the ultra wide is a 12 megapixel crap camera. Let's face it. The telephoto might as well not exist because here's the thing. My test last year confirmed this. The S25 Edge has the same camera system exactly as the Z Fold 7, but it doesn't have that stupid vestigial 10 megapixel 3x telephoto. And when you zoom into 10x on both phones, you actually get better image from the Edge because it's not using that crappy camera and it's got good image processing and it's using all the detail from the 200 megapixel sensor. So that's what I'm saying when I controversially say that the Z Fold 7 has a crap camera system is because one lens is useless. It's the telephoto. But all this to say that the Razr Fold has 3 proper, decent-sized 50 megapixel sensors with decently fast lenses. Now, we know Moto has a lot of issues with processing, but from what we observed at MWC, it's gotten a lot better.
I kid you not. I was surprised. It got me excited for this phone. It got me excited to be able to test it out. And then every time I see the team over at Moto, because we saw this many times, right? We saw it at CES, and this was back in January. We're basically in May now.
Yeah, it's like this
is the longest tease we've ever been on a tease.
They had to call like some kind of special doctor for that baby to pop out.
I was we're done. Oh my God. We're ready. We're releasing it. It's going to be out.
We wanted it to be out months ago, guys. But so 50 megapixel ultra wide, f over 2.0, 50 megapixel main, f over 1.6 with OIS PDAF, very fast lens, very big sensor too, pretty decent. And then 50 megapixel 3x periscope telephoto with OIS and phase detect autofocus. So like it might not quite match, in terms of image processing, algorithms, color science, what I have in my pockets here, the Chinese.
No. I think,
but it's, in my opinion, way better than the
I
Fold
think
7.
it's trying to hit the experience that you get with the signature line that they
Correct,
have.
and that's solid.
And I think that's what they're trying to do.
And it's still, again, better than the Z Fold 7. And so my point is, the battery, the cameras,
for the market that it's in, absolutely, yeah, you're right.
it beats the Z Fold 7, and now it has that chip in it that just wah, 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 you know. And then the price is low. Yeah, fine. So 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage, wired. Okay, charging, 80 watts wired and 50 watt wireless. Guess what the freaking Galaxy Z Fold 7 charges at? 30 or 25. 25.
It wasn't even up to 45.
25. And it's 15 for wireless.
15.
It's crap. Like, that alone makes a difference. Now you're going to say, well, you know, I looked at the specs and, the Razr Fold is 4.5 millimeter thick, not 4.2 like those Chinese and the Z Fold 7. You don't feel the difference. It's 0.3 millimeter. You don't feel the difference, guys.
It's already thin enough that when you hold it in your hand, it feels like a regular candy bar smartphone.
You know where you feel the difference of a thickness of it? You know which phone has an issue right now in terms of folding phone thickness? The Pixel 10 Pro Fold.
Oh,
it feels like a chunker now because we're so used to...
that ship sailed on everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even Samsung has left the thing.
And when I pick up the Razr Fold, even though it's technically thicker, it doesn't feel thicker. Like, I can't tell the difference. I have to put them side by side. Like, if I pull out my, Oppo Find N6, then I'm
everything
like,
is thicker.
Yeah, because my Oppo Find N6 with that, case that it has on right now, which is the one that comes the carbon fiber one, the Aramid. It is such a thin case that even with that on, it feels like thinner. It feels super thin.
And obviously, you guys can't see this over there, but this one of the reasons why I always go with these cases for Oppo. It's super nice, protective, and it gives you the nice case.
So wait, this is the case I want. Where did you get it?
AliExpress.
Oh, can you send me the link? Yeah. I really need to protect my.
Oh no, absolutely.
Because I don't want to use the chunky case that came with the teleconverter. I'm a big fan of Aramid fiber.
So just for you guys on the show, we have both the Oppo Find X9 Ultra in. I like my orange color.
I like the orange too.
Yeah, and of course in the Hasselblad doodle tone there.
Yeah, it's the what's it called? Umber Tundra. So folks, just in case you're wondering, you're listening to a podcast running like, what's going on? So there's a video version of the show. You can get it a day in advance for $5 a month every week, because if you join my patreon.com/TNKGRL, that's how you watch us brandish phones. Let's put them up a little closer. There we go. Look at that.
So just because I always love to do that whenever I find a friend that has the other color, because I think out of our friend group, it was myself and I think Mark Lynn saying that got the orange, and everybody else.
I love the orange.
I just because there's a case, the custom case for the carrier that has the camera grip on it. Yeah. Is exactly the color of the Umber one. So I felt like you knock it out of the park by just getting it.
I want this case.
But
how much was it?
It's like $16.
Oh my God. Perfect.
Yeah, no, and I found the original.
Does it have magnets on it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, that was the whole reason.
Even better.
Because the one they sent us, the orange one, although looks beautiful, and I mean, not everybody got it, maybe, I think, but I need the magnets. Like
same.
A lot of the content that you saw from my videos on
is that brand on Ali? Do they do other phones too? Should I buy like a whole bunch of cases? That's $16. I'll just buy 5
case over there is on my X300 Ultra. Okay, cool. I typically will always make sure to find some type of case that has it, and if it's not, I always add the magnet myself. But
I just have a hard time finding.
I just wanted
cases,
to keep them.
Yeah, this is exactly what I want.
Keep it there.
Yeah.
All the ports there, and I had it on my Find X9 Pro, and
nice.
It's nice. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, the Find X9 Pro came with an Aramid case from Oppo, at least in my box.
It did,
and it was pretty great. Honestly.
That was the case that came for the camera.
Yeah, but I used it. It was fine.
So that was my only thing about that, because it had the.
It doesn't have the
on
magnets
the
either.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the magnets. That was.
We now go back to our regular programming.
Back on the show.
Look, here's the thing. I am very happy. I'm accepting the fact that it's 8 Gen 5. There's nothing we can do about it. I hope it doesn't affect productivity and that insane responsiveness I get on these other folding phones.
Mm-hmm.
But we should celebrate the fact that in the US, you now have competition. You can buy a Z Fold 7 and get a crappy camera and crappy battery and a great processor and a really sexy looking phone. I love the squareness of it.
Push Samsung. This is going to push
and
Pixel.
You can now buy also a Razr Fold, which has better imaging, better
Better
battery,
front-facing camera. 32 on the outside
right.
and a 20 on the inside front-facing camera.
better batteries, maybe a slightly worse processor, but overall you won't probably notice, and costs a little less. So I think this is great news, because these other two phones I have in my pockets, you have to import. And, there's all problem. I have no issues overall with reception on these on all the different SIMs I use, both my Canadian and US SIMs on various carriers. I don't use Verizon. Sorry, George, but he knows that, we can't use Verizon on the Chinese phone. So I would love to. But the point is, it's not a big deal that it's missing some bands. It is, though. It is. So if you really are living in an area where the only band that works for you on T-Mobile is that one band that you can only get on US sanctioned phones, these imports are going to be an issue. And so now we know that this Razr Fold is going to support those bands.
Yes, and I like I said, the lineup it's fantastic that we're getting the lineup now. Unfortunately, we're not getting the signature device. There were other devices released in Europe. So
the Edge, which is like a mid-ranger,
maybe
and it's very sexy.
I
feel like it's not coming.
So last year they said it wasn't coming, right? And then maybe a few months later we got a variant of it. I think at the end of the day, we need a proper candy bar. Don't get me wrong. I think the Fold is an amazing device, and when you close it, it feels like it's a candy bar style device. But it's going to be
except
in the
for that camera bump.
Okay, so functional camera bumps, I am all for.
I am 100%.
I have a phone there that the camera bump is thicker than the phone.
I know. But when you see what Oppo was able to pull off on the Ultra, it's definitely a camera bump, but it's
five
not
cameras.
It's
There's five cameras on the back.
It's not
of that.
insane.
Yeah, it is,
This camera bump, okay. I have no problems with it per se, because I'm on board. I want the better cameras. It is, how the Z Fold 7's camera bump, especially because it's so, wobbly.
It's still going to be wobbly.
Is pretty tall, but it's not this is doubling the thickness of the phone when closed. I measured it. I measured it. It's literally doubling it. It's insane.
It is, but the beautiful thing about it, again, I'm not trying to justify it, but it's sitting on the other opposite side of when you're holding it. So when you hold the phone, you don't feel the bump. But you're right. If you're looking at it sideways, you're like super, super skinny, and then you look, there's the bump right there. And I know that kind of looked weird on camera.
I think for the intended audience of this podcast, it won't matter. But I think for somebody who needs, who's really kind of like, I want to replace my candy bar with a folding phone because I want that productivity and the extra canvas of having the screen real estate, they might find it a little grating that camera bump is so big, because you'll notice in your pocket, right? I mean, look, again, the Z Fold 7 also has a bit of a chonker there, but it's not as bad. And it's also narrower and takes up less space. But,
I think maybe some case companies will be creative enough to give us a good experience.
Yeah, and I think also, I'm curious to see, I don't want to be cynical, but I'm frankly curious to see if this makes even a dent for Samsung. Like you're saying, well, this is going to put Samsung on notice. And in some ways, yes, because they have competition. But here's the reality. I think that the majority, everybody I know who uses Z Fold 7 right now, that is not one of us media or one of my beautiful listeners who buy a new phone every, 3 months, because you guys are awesome. Folks in PR that I talk to, or, the average super productive person that has Z Fold 7, they would never go to anything else. And in the old days, it was because they had a Note and they used the S Pen. Now they can't use the S Pen. So maybe that'll bring them to the Razr Fold, because the pen, we should talk about the pen. But what I'm trying to say is that when you walk into a store, and you upgrade your phone, which is people do every 2 years or something, the rep's not going to steer you towards the Razr Fold.
No, and that's the problem.
That's my
also
point.
Not going to be
that's
in the
why
front.
I'm not sure it's
You're
going to
walk into Sam Apple, and then you basically.
I don't think it's going to threaten Samsung very much. I'm worried about that.
It's not necessarily the threat, I would say. I would say it's so Samsung finally worked on the design of the actual Fold for the Fold 7. The Z Fold 7,
finally.
It's a dramatic, it's not even in the same family as the previous Folds that we've seen from them.
It's them sitting on their ass doing absolutely nothing for years and years, and all of a sudden going, oh crap, Oppo Find N5, oh crap, Magic V5 and V3 then, and going, oh, we need to do something like that.
But at the time, if you look at the timing of when because as you can imagine, device design doesn't typically happen in a short amount of time. It takes a year, maybe even a year and a half. When the N3 came out, or where the Open came out,
oh my God,
OnePlus,
it was a revelation.
It was available in the US, it was compatible, and it was so thin. I feel like that made a nudge. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I want to, as an aside, we've all been lamenting for the last 3 or 4 episodes how we're not sure what OnePlus is doing and where they're going and what's happening with them.
God, I know.
And now the latest rumors, again, we're going to talk about the news next week, but the latest rumors is that OnePlus is going to get rolled into Realme, which is fine in a way because Realme makes great phones.
The real
But
flagship.
I have reflected upon this many, many weeks now, and I have a theory. And the theory is that the OnePlus Open is what killed OnePlus.
Pourquoi? Why?
Pete Lau, you stepped on our toes. It sold better than the N3.
But it was intended. Okay, so the OnePlus brand was
But
always.
you see where I'm going with this.
No, I absolutely get it, and I also see what's going on since the N3, since that release, since the 13, because it's been a shift in approach into the US
OnePlus
market.
Open and the OnePlus 13 is what killed OnePlus. They were too good, and they were a threat to Pete Lau's little empire of Oppo because I don't think, and look, again, I've said this on the show before, I love Pete, I respect him, he's done great stuff, but he doesn't understand, he doesn't have a worldview when it comes to phones. He's got a very China-centric view. And there's absolutely no reason in my mind that OnePlus can't be the Western brand and Oppo can't be the...
That's what I was thinking. Absolutely. You need to put OnePlus in the markets where you can't go, where you're not present there, and utilize the fact that they're in this market already. What they're getting us right now and what we saw, I mean, again, I'm not knocking about the 15. The 15 is a great device. 15R provides a lot of good value in it, but the Open was the only version that we got out of the N3. It was the exact copy of the N3.
And that was
Oppo.
really smart.
And it made perfect
sense. But I
sense.
think it ruffled his feathers or somebody's feathers at Oppo because after that shift, everything shifted.
Everything did, yeah. I know.
And because, here's the thing I want to point out. Do you remember when we went to the MediaTek trip in
Delhi.
India?
Yeah.
And we had the Oppo Find X8 Pro on us.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, and it was running
then we
with
got
music.
our OnePlus 13s. I'm sorry, but the OnePlus 13, as awesome as it was, and I do believe it's the best bar phone they ever made, because the 15 is not as well balanced. Like the 15 has better strengths in some areas, but it's not as well balanced in my opinion. So the 13 is to me the culmination of the OnePlus bar phone. But it didn't step on the X8 Pros because it was missing a camera.
The X8 still had that little bit of an edge.
And that's exactly my point. There was never a threat here. The only threat we had, I don't think it was a threat really, it was logical financially to make a phone that was branded differently and was identical otherwise.
And they
the
went
N3 and the Open.
Yeah, they went Qualcomm
No,
as
but the
opposed to on
N3 and the Open.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. It's a label. It
Is
was
why
absolutely
I
a
think
label and a
what I
version
think
of the
happened
software.
was that they made these phones, at the time it seemed to make sense. We share the economies of making a folding phone, so OnePlus doesn't have to make their own. And then OnePlus oversold the N3. Because we loved that phone. Because us, the Western media, went nuts about the OnePlus Open. And all of a sudden, it just went up. And, Oppo didn't even offer me an N3. They offered some of the media an N3. Now, it was China only.
Very few people.
But you know what I'm saying?
No. When I went, because I got a chance to go to the N3
so
launch.
I think that hurt somebody's feelings. And I can only think it's Pete. Because after that, because the 13 never stepped on the toes of the Oppo.
No, I think it was a great, and it was, as you said, one of their best devices that they put on the market, but there was no, you would consider them for different experiences and you never felt like one was overstepping the other. And I think when we went on the 15 was not even in the same ballpark as the Find X9 so
not even the Find X9.
I hope
in some ways.
I hope if the combination with Realme does go the way it's what we're hearing, it makes sense. It's a reach as far as being able to
the
combine.
GT8 Pro was a phenomenal phone.
No, absolutely. Realme's been knocking it. That this is no question. Realme has been when they go into the pool of parts at Oppo, since they're both
parts
children,
bin,
the parts bin. Realme
when
has
Pete's
been going,
not looking and they go like, oh, let's grab this.
Because for a while I felt like Realme was picking at last generation of the new generation before, and they started literally to step forward with a lot of their technologies, and I appreciate that. So having them together, having the kids work together to make a better product, I don't disagree. I think it's a great opportunity. I just hope that the presence of OnePlus in the US does not disappear, because having Realme as a brand in the US is a tougher name to try to convince US buyers that this is a value or this is a device that works. OnePlus has been in the game for a while. So find a way to combine those two names, like the Real O, the Real OP, or OP Real, whatever you want to combine the names. But I'm excited for that, and I want to see more things.
So the whole reason we did this aside is to point out to you that in the same way as I feel the OnePlus Open was a disruptor because Samsung was sitting on their laurels, I think the Razr Fold, even though it doesn't have the best chip, is a disruptor for Samsung. But I think it's a bit lesser.
And to Pixel. And I hope it also pushes Google. Because the moment both of these main players start adjusting and appropriately giving us technology.
The problem with Google is I don't feel like they have any concept of threats from other companies. They are literally on their own train track, doing their own thing, and they do not give a flying F about anyone else because they don't have to.
Because they're Google.
They have billions of dollars in the bank and they can do whatever they want. And so I really do hope they step it up. Or in fact, part of me hopes they don't even make Pixel 11 Pro Fold. If they're going to bungle it and mess it up.
No, I know.
Anyway, let's talk quickly about the pen and earbuds before we wrap up, because here's the thing. You cannot get a S Pen for the Z Fold 7 at all.
Have that. No, they took out the digitizer.
Even if you were to buy one, it wouldn't work. So the fact that Moto sells a little cylinder that has a USB-C plug in the back, and you can slide your little pen in there and it charges.
It protects it and it charges it.
And then it
looks like a cigar, but it's not a cigar.
It has active stylus. It has a button on it, and it works on the inner and the outer display.
That's how it should be.
Really nice.
So again,
Oppo does the same. Honor does
the same.
And some of you are going to lament the fact that it's not in a case, built in, or whatever. But you know what? That's not a huge deal.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, so
put it in your back pocket and you're done.
The reality, I mean, I feel like the pen conversation is it's needed for specific use cases. And if you need it, you'll carry it. And if you do need to carry it, it's in a nice protected case that you can put in your pocket, your back pocket, in your backpack, and it's not going to get damaged. It's not going to break. So there's the protection part of it. And it's easy. It's easy to access it. You just push it and it pops up right away and you just take it and start working with it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they have it, the fact that it's a first party accessory, we may even see a case that supports it. Like, I mean, remember 100%. Samsung, when they did have it, I love the last generation when they did it with the Fold, you actually had a case that was part of it.
Exactly.
And it made sense. So,
and then the other thing is they made a pair of earbuds. And at first I was like, I've had Moto buds before and some of them are decent. They've never been fantastic. And by the way, I just want to, again, put on a pedestal, set the bar. Mm-hmm. And the bar is the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. That's the current bar. Like, no, there are others. Like the OnePlus buds are incredible. Mm-hmm. There's Honor buds that are really great too. But I think for the average person in this market, North America, it's very easy to obtain. Mm-hmm. The Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, holy crap balls, they're some of the best earbuds I've ever heard of a mainstream manufacturer.
Even if you use them on non-Samsung
all
devices,
this to say, correct.
Something to be said. Yeah.
All this to say that Moto has done some good stuff, but never that good. And so, but I looked at the specs, like, at first, I was like, they make buds. And there was no Pro Ultra name, it's Plus. And I was like, it's probably, they need to have that in their ecosystem. Great. But then I looked at the specs. Dynamic driver, 11 millimeter with a balanced armature from Knowles. Mm-hmm. That went like, whoa, wait a minute. That's pro level gear stuff. And that should, if tuned right, should sound really fantastic. Now, the tuning is by Bose. Bose is not my favorite for tuning, but Harman is, really the king here in terms of mainstream tuning. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a chance to try them because I don't want to.
That was
not at a public event.
But
I will request a pair and try them out because the specs have me excited. LHDC codec as well.
I was surprised to see that they went with
all of Moto support LHDC for years now.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So if you have OnePlus buds, I do, my favorite buds.
I knew Xiaomi supports LHDC as well because that was one of the places I used to be able to use. But when I saw that on the spec sheet, I was like, okay.
Yeah. And it's LHDC 4 and 5 too, so the lossless one. Anyway, but
6 mics as well, let's not forget.
I mean, it has the paper spec. The only thing I think is missing wireless charging on the case. But that's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So, that's it. That's what we saw.
The Fold,
yesterday.
the Plus, and the Ultra support reverse wireless charging.
Yes,
you can technically hook it up by wire and
5 watt, I believe.
Which is more than enough for buds.
Totally fine.
Yeah. No.
So look, a great lineup overall. Some caveats, I guess. Some reservations. For me, the big reservations is, first of all, the thing I'm most annoyed with is this 8 Elite Pro situation. The second thing I'm most annoyed with is that the Fold has an 8 Gen 5 that even an 8 Elite would have been better. Because,
have the space too. I mean, I felt like...
I don't know. It's weird. And then But kudos for the silicon carbon batteries, the fast charging. Kudos for the camera improvements across the board.
Absolutely.
Design, colors, all that stuff we love. Mwah, beautiful. And then, a pen support, all these things. The big question for me is, we'll get devices pretty soon, I'm sure.
Hopefully,
and it's going to be, now that I'm used to the productivity on these two phones, do I have any hiccups? Anything, not software hiccups. I'm saying like anything that I feel like, it's missing.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be the test. Because now I know what I want and what I expect.
The bar has been set.
The bar has been set.
Yes, it is.
I will never give up a folding phone. I will still have my Pixel because, for some of the software features, it's still my favorite platform. And they keep me hostage, as you know. But I haven't been able to go to a folding phone from Pixel because a crappy processor and thick and bulky and all kinds of issues. And it's not going to happen. It's never going to be competitive. Even if they manage
They're not trying. They're not trying. Yeah, no.
Again, they're on that track and they're doing their own thing. But that's why I always have another phone in my pocket, at least two. And one is I always have the other ones I'm testing, right?
Yeah.
But for me, a folding phone needs to have the best of everything that you can deliver in that form factor. And that's right now to me is those two phones, the Magic V6 from Honor and the Find N6 from Oppo. And I lean towards the Oppo because even though, I think the screens are brighter on the Magic for sure.
No, for sure.
The battery is obviously 6,600 milliamp hours, a lot more than 6,000. I feel like the software for me is so good on the Oppo. Like it's just, and the camera tuning. Honestly, as much as I actually think the telephoto on the Magic is slightly better than on the Oppo, but Hasselblad color science and Hasselblad tuning and imaging that comes with it. Oh my God, it's amazing.
It absolutely.
It's having a baby version of the Ultra,
at
all times.
With folding experience.
And a folding experience in one shot.
I'm wondering if at some point we'll see the flip again, the N6, like an N6 flip.
Because that N3 flip was so good.
The flip series kind of went to the side.
3 cameras. Yeah, it had a telephoto.
It had a
Hasselblad.
It had a 9:16 aspect ratio display.
It had the alert slider. My God, that's another Oppo that was supposed to be a OnePlus, I feel like.
It was the N5 was the last one to carry it. So my brother, I gave my brother the Open, and he basically used it till it died. Let's just say that he loved it that much.
He broke it.
The internal display was gone, and it was purely because he admits to it, but the experience overall is he loved that phone. And then when I got him into the N5, because I got the N6, he's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And I was like, yes, that is the experience that is Oppo. You have to use it, and you're like, wow.
I mean, honestly, I'm sorry, but I know I've been gushing about Oppo for the last few months. I would say that since the Find X8 Pro, like even the 7 Ultra, X7 Ultra I took to Antarctica.
I remember that trip.
But it was a Chinese market phone, so it had some issues, with the software. Some things didn't work. But I think since the Find X8 Pro, for me, Oppo is my first choice of phone, other than having to have a Pixel because I'm a hostage.
No, I'm with you.
And I don't know how to explain this to folks, but it's like OnePlus on steroids. And if you love OnePlus as much as I have, and that's also why we lamented ourselves earlier about what's going on with OnePlus right now, because look, just jump over to Oppo because they've got it nailed. They are killing it. Absolutely. Look,
everything they're
the
releasing
Xiaomi
right
17
now.
Ultra is a phenomenal phone. So is the Vivo X300 Ultra that you have. But I would pick this X9 Ultra over those two for the software and just, I don't know, it's that well-roundedness. Everything is right. You're not sacrificing. On Vivo, I feel it's the software I'm sacrificing. Definitely not the camera.
I think Vivo needs a little bit of software update love.
On the Xiaomi, I don't like HyperOS. And then as much as I love the Leica partnership, and you can't scoff at that, it's not my color science of choice. Leica Vibrant,
choices and options, I think, is
what
we get to
Vibrant is
enjoy.
pretty damn good. I have the Xiaomi 17 base, and I use it as my exclusive content capture device for, I don't know what event it was. Maybe MWC? No, it was after MWC.
Yeah, because I think it came out at
No,
MWC.
I got it and I did something with it and I was super impressed. Like
Maybe,
it's a
or-
base model, and I was like, wow, okay, so that's pretty cool.
No. Right?
So I mean, look, Xiaomi is still up there for me, but it's Oppo.
They're the last player on the Ultra side that still uses the full 1-inch sensor. That was my only thing. If there's ever been a thing to point to a little bit, is that both Vivo and Oppo have left it. Xiaomi's still in it. I don't know if they'll keep it
But
next
they've all
year.
left the variable aperture too, and Huawei still has that.
Yeah.
And there's talk of Apple bringing it back, which is kind of interesting. Anyway,
We'll see.
this is a good place to wrap up.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, TK, tell folks where they can find you, your YouTube, your social media.
Oh, I was going to say, you can find me in LA right now with Miriam doing it in person.
Hi.
We usually do these, over the
Come
interwebs.
to West Hollywood.
Absolutely.
And you'll find us tonight.
Right on Sunset, baby. No, it's simple, easy to find. TK Bay, almost anywhere you find me. On Instagram and on X is TKDSL8655, but TK Bay on YouTube and everywhere else. So yeah, always a pleasure to be on the show. Love getting a chance to spend some time with Miriam.
It's always a pleasure,
And,
my friend.
and see how many phones she's able to put in.
Wow, you see what is in my bag.
She competes. Like I came in and I thought I was carrying, but like, no, like, okay.
There's always 4 at least on my person, and then
Absolutely.
there
I
is
think that's
more
the
in my
right number.
bag usually. But listen, you guys should subscribe to the channel.
Appreciate it.
Awesome, and you also have another second channel in Arabic.
Arabic, I'm thinking of, I'm trying to work on trying
So
to
if you
get that going
speak
as well.
Arabic, But here's the thing: follow TK, follow social, and for me, it's Tank Girl, TNKGRL. That's my handle everywhere. It's like the comic book character Tank Girl, but without the vowels in one word. And that's basically mostly I'm on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads, but I'm on all the platforms. And on my TikTok, at my year of birth, 6'9", and then that's it for social. Please talk with us on social. Like
Absolutely.
if you have questions about these phones, if you are have some opinions, we'd love to hear them. And then for my YouTube channel, if you want to see my hands-on with these 4 phones, I have a brand new video today. So youtube.com/mobiletechpodcast, and you know how YouTube works. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, click the bell, comment, let me know. Are you annoyed by the processor things? Are you excited about one of these phones? Which one would you pick, etc.? And then if you are just new to this podcast, because maybe you follow TK here, mobiletechpodcast.com will bring you to a website that has all the links to all the different platforms: Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts. Apparently, most of you are on Apple Podcasts. What is this? It's an Android show. What are you guys doing? I get it. Your family's on iPhones. I get it. But listen, subscribe to the podcast is what I'm saying. And rate and review the show if you can in your podcast app. I use Pocket Cast. I have no sponsorship with them, but I really love that app. It works everywhere.
It's amazing.
Also, I have the Patreon. So patreon.com/tanker, like my handle, TNKGRL. Again, you can get a video version of this podcast a day in advance for $5 a month. And it's every week, right? You get it on Saturdays. The podcast gets released publicly, the audio on Sundays. So, if you want to support me, $5 a month, it's a great deal. You get to see us show phones. Sometimes there's bloopers. Sometimes when I'm doing it remote with my guests, FedEx always seems to show up at the right time. And then we sometimes spontaneously unbox something right on the show. You don't get that stuff on the audio version.
You hear about it, but you never get to see it.
The thing is, I kind of curate the audio version to be the best possible quality, whereas the video version, I'm kind of more lax about it. Like, I don't do as much editing. So in a way, it's a little bit more homey. So folks, patreon.com/TNKGRL. And finally, I want to thank our sponsor, Mint Mobile. If you want a good deal for mobile, they're the ones to check out. I review a lot of phones, so I'm constantly juggling multiple devices. While that's fun, it also means I'm spending a lot of money for wireless service on multiple SIMs. Thankfully, there's Mint Mobile, and that's who I'm teaming up with for today's podcast. If you want to save money on your wireless service, switch to Mint Mobile. You've probably seen the Mint Mobile ads featuring Ryan Reynolds, but let me quickly tell you how fantastic their service is, especially for tech-savvy early adopters like us. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online. They cut out the retail stores and salespeople. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network? In my experience testing phones, Mint Mobile delivers the same data speeds and call quality as the big three for a fraction of the cost. Switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to their eSIMs, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. No more standing around waiting in line at a big wireless store. You can keep your current devices and phone number and easily switch services. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card free of charge. The whole process only takes 15 minutes, and if you get stuck, Mint has a great customer service team to get you through it. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning-fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. Mint will show you how much data you use each month and recommend plans that save you money. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. Use my link, mintmobile.com/mobiletech, to get premium wireless starting at $15 a month. Stop paying more than you need on your wireless bill and start saving big with Mint Mobile. And TK, thanks so much for being my guest and coming all the way to my hotel room from your hotel room. Oh my God.
It was a long walk.
That was a very... Anyway.
A lot of cards, a lot of swiping.
Folks, we'll have another show next week. Stay tuned for that. And we'll catch up on the news then, of course. Until then, cheers, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
This has been the Mobile Tech Podcast with Tank Girl, proudly presented by worldpodcasts.com. You can visit us online at mobiletechpodcast.com.